This is Copper 90, and these are the top 10 worst deadline day transfers. At 10 is Paul Konchesky to Liverpool. During Roy Hodgson's dismal spell as Liverpool manager, he made one of Merseyside's worst ever signings, Paul Konchesky. The left-back followed Hodgson from Fulham in 2011 and was a constant liability, making mistake after mistake and offering nothing going forwards. An error against Spurs leading to an Aaron Lennon winner was the final nail in the coffin. He was constantly sarcastically cheered when substituted off, and after only 6 months at the club, the fullback was shipped off to Nottingham Forest on loan before never returning to the Liverpool squad. At 9, it's Robinho to Man City. On the final day of the 2008 summer transfer window, Real Madrid and Brazil star Robinho joined Man City for £32.5 million. Bought on the same day that the Manchester club were bought out by the Abu Dhabi United group, Robinho was meant to signal a successful new dawn for the blue side of Manchester, and to begin with, he did. In his first season at the club, Robinho made 31 league appearances and scored an impressive 14 goals, including a hat-trick against Stoke City. His second season, though, was far less emphatic. He only played 12 games due to a long-term injury and moved back to Brazil on loan in January and left hot and sunny Manchester for good in the summer of 2010. At 8, it's Afonso Alves to Middlesbrough. Alves looked like a great signing when he joined Middlesbrough on the final day of the January transfer window in 2008. Joining from Heerenveen for £15 million, the Brazilian striker bagged 48 goals in 48 games for the Dutch side and was billed as Borough's great saviour as the club found themselves on the brink of relegation. Despite Borough securing safety in his first season, overall his 18-month spell in the North East was a failure. Scoring only 10 goals in 42 league games, he was unable to stop Southgate's men from being relegated the following season, and he was quickly offloaded to Qatari club Al Sadd in September 2009. At 7, it's Andre Santos to Arsenal. Oh, Andre Santos. He couldn't defend, but he was sure fun to watch. The least defensively competent left-back you're likely to ever see in the Premier League, Santos joined Arsenal from FENERBAHÇE on the 31st of August 2011 to shore up a dodgy Gunners' defence. Despite showing good technical ability on the ball, his performances at the back quickly turned comical, as he made frequent shocking mistakes that cost Arsenal dear in yet another failed title challenge. He was let go from Arsenal just 2 years later. At 6, it's XISCO to Newcastle. You'd think that if you spent 5 years at a club, you'd rack up a fair few appearances. Well, that wasn't really the case with XISCO at Newcastle. Signed on the 2008 summer transfer deadline day for £5.7 million, Spanish striker XISCO amassed just 11 official appearances for the club over a loan-riddled 5-year spell. In 2 of his 5 seasons at Newcastle, he was loaned out to Racing Santander and Deportivo La Coruña, and in the 3 or so seasons he was actually playing for the club, they tried to sell him after just 4 months, they were relegated, and XISCO scored just 1 goal. It's no wonder why the Newcastle Evening Chronicle named him as one of the club's worst strikers. At 5 is Cuadrado to Chelsea. If you could think of some of the most pointless signings of the Premier League era, Juan Cuadrado to Chelsea is right up there. Signed on deadline day in February 2015, Cuadrado joined Mourinho's Chelsea side after an impressive 3-year stint at Fiorentina. Known for his blistering pace and dribbling ability, Cuadrado struggled to offer any end product and did not impress the faithful at Stamford Bridge. And although he won both the League Cup and Premier League in his debut season, he made only 12 appearances. Despite Mourinho saying, "I do believe that he'll be amazing next season," Cuadrado was loaned out to Serie A champions Juventus in the summer of 2015. At 4 is Fernando Torres to Chelsea. When you become the fastest player in Liverpool history to score 50 league goals, you're not going to come cheap. And when you're Chelsea, it doesn't matter how much you cost. On the 31st of January 2011, Chelsea took Fernando Torres from Liverpool for £50 million, a British transfer record. Fans everywhere fully expected Torres to carry on the outrageous goal-scoring form he enjoyed at Liverpool, but it quickly became apparent that this wouldn't happen. The Spanish striker went 903 minutes of football without scoring a single goal, eventually breaking his duck against West Ham almost 3 months after joining. Though he helped Chelsea win the FA Cup, Champions League and Europa League in 4 years, he never really got going in front of goal, which is why his time there is most fondly remembered for his horrific open goal miss against Man United. At 3, it's Andy Carroll to Liverpool. Andy bloody Carroll. He's always been good at heading. He hasn't always been good at scoring though. And for Liverpool, he didn't quite live up to the ridiculous price tag of £35 million that came his way on transfer deadline day in January 2011. Coming from Newcastle with a fairly good goal-scoring record, no one expected Kenny Dalglish to splash this much dough on an English striker, even after they received the £50 million for Torres. Torres, the Spanish superstar who banged in goals for fun, left Anfield and departed the number 9 shirt, which was promptly taken by the arriving CARROLL. And it's fair to say that, in his 3 years at the club, he didn't quite light up the Premier League the same way Torres did, scoring just 6 goals in 44 league matches. Not bad for the then most expensive British player of all time. And at number 2, it's FALCAO to Man United. RADAMEL FALCAO was one of the most prolific goal scorers in European football, scoring goals aplenty everywhere he went. So when Man United signed the Colombian on loan in the last seconds of the summer transfer window in 2014, fans were relishing seeing him light up the Premier League. However, things didn't turn out as expected. The striker, who was earning himself a massive £265,000 a week and has been described as one of the most natural in-form goal scorers in the world, made 29 appearances and scored just 4 goals. The striker was dropped from the first team in March and demoted to the under-21 squad before leaving United and returning home to Monaco. And at number 1 is KOSTAS MITROGLOU to Fulham. On the 31st of January 2014, Mitroglou became Fulham's record transfer, signing for a fee of around £12 million. The striker had racked up 81 goals in 182 appearances for Olympiacos and was tipped to save Fulham from relegation. The Greek made his debut 23 days after his transfer to the London club, but due to injuries and fitness problems, only managed 2 more games before Fulham's relegation at the end of the season. 3 games and 0 goals later, the striker was loaned back to Olympiacos before signing for Benfica in 2015. To make matters worse, before signing Mitroglou, the Cottagers approached Real Sociedad to inquire about signing a 23-year-old Antoine Griezmann. They were quoted a price of £12 million and refused to pay it. What could have been? That was Copper 90's top 10 worst deadline day transfers. Did we miss any? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe.